to the Samosa Budget YouTube channel. My name's Shika and I'm giving you budgeting ideas and sharing my debt-free journey and also some lifestyle tips along the way. So the purpose of today's video is, it's a bit of a weird one because we are still in March, but I do a weekly check-in and I thought I would film that for you. So the way I track our variable spending is in a weekly spending tracker, and then I have all of my variable categories along the left and then all the days of the week across the top, and then at the end of the week or the following week more likely I will go in and just total everything up and then just double check this against a cloud-based software I use called YNAB. You need a budget. So I just check to make sure my math is correct, because sometimes I forget, or sometimes when you're using multiple accounts, it can get a bit confusing, especially as we use a bank called Monzo, which is one of the new challenger banks in the UK, and we've enabled the round-up facility. So any purchase over £1 will get rounded up to the next to the nearest pound. So if it was £1.99, it will be rounded up to £2. If it was £2.20, it will be rounded up to £3. And that money is moved into another pot, and that means that it happens without us thinking, but it also means that I need to be sure that I do put the rounded up amounts against those transactions. So as you can see, I'm just going to zoom you in a little bit. You can see that most of this, in fact all of this, is filled in. So then what I do, as I said, I have the totals against each category, and then I have a little red tick to show that it has been reconciled against our online tracking software, just to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything. And then what I do with this is I then put all of these categories into this sheet, which is basically a summary. I mean, it's sort of, depending on the way you look at it, it's sort of unnecessary because you can see at a glance what you spent here per category. But what is really interesting is the total remaining per week, because this will tell you if you're going through your money too quickly. And in some cases, such as eating out, or say household or home, well, not maybe eating out, but household and home, there's not always a weekly expense, so it doesn't really, the remaining per week doesn't really matter, so I won't necessarily always fill it in. Things that do matter are the food, I would say, food, fun and fuel, just to make sure, because sometimes when the months are a bit longer and it crosses a weekend that you didn't think you'd have to worry about, you just want to make sure that you don't run out of money. Obviously we're living in a state of shutdown right now, especially in London, as of last night, so I just wanted to sort of keep things going, because personally I find it better to have structure to my days and to carry on as normal. Otherwise it can get very overwhelming. So yeah, I thought I would do my first YouTube video showing the week 3 check-in. So at the top here, I'm just going to write the month, which is March, and I just put in the number 3. This was my first ever insert that I created. It's crazy busy because these colours match the highlighters I use in my digital budget by paycheck workbook by the Budget Mom. I'll link her channel. She's quite big on Instagram, and she is really good at explaining things and helping you find some hidden money in your budget. I think she's really great, and she uses her real numbers, so really good on her. She's really provided an extra dimension of looking at our budget, because we've been using YNAB for 8 years and we've ended up using it more as an expense tracker versus using it to work towards our goals, and that's what the budget monk does for us. So anyway, part of this is the weekly check-in, so I'm just going to fill in these numbers very quickly, because I've already checked the amounts here. Just want to make sure you're in frame, because I already checked the amounts here against YNAB. I'm just going to assume these are fine and just put them into. I'm just going to fast forward this bit as it's quite boring just filling it in. You'll see I've got some extra strips here, which I don't have here just because they're sort of sporadic and I'm not entirely too concerned about them. So let's go through. Okay, so at so our goal, this was our savings challenge for this month. We sort of fudged it because we didn't want to do March ones because we thought we could challenge ourselves, and one of them was pack a lunch from home. So we've done week 1, week 2. For us, it just happens that the first 2 weeks had the high numbers, and week 3 was £54, which we have put aside. So I'm just going to write week 3 equals £54, and we did that. I don't think we're going to hit this £43 because, as you can see, there's not much money left in these categories, which is where we would normally skim from. So that would mean that would make you feel really mindful about whether to order that pizza or not, or go raid your freezer and see if there's anything you can put in the oven quickly. So that has been great. I can tell you how much we have saved doing these challenges so far. So for May, we're at 199. May? Whoa. We're at 199, and obviously we've got this last payment of 43 to go. If we can go this week without spending any money, which we've already done, then we could probably reach majority of the goal if we can avoid spending. We have these money from these 2 categories to take from, but cigarette money is basically already gone. So now that we've done our the weekly check-in, what I do next is fill in the monthly spending, which is this layout. So I'd already done this. I didn't realise that I'd done this and not the other page. So as you can see, we've spent, this is an insane amount of money on household and food. I know I have a separate household budget, but honestly, when we were going to the shops, we would normally separate out our shopping by transaction category type, so it's easy for us to then see where we've spent the money. We obviously couldn't do that because the queues were crazy, and we nearly died in Costco. So let's see, because these numbers look a little bit off, because this is saying food spends were 4. No, that's not food spends. Okay, so £559. So if I do that minus 483.70. Okay, I have to check my numbers because something is either not in here, or we've counted it twice. So the way I would check if there's discrepancies is to, how do we do this? Okay, so here I have the dates. So 87.38. What did? So I know I can look for 16th, 22nd. Okay. We had 14. Yep, I see that. 4.78. I see that. £3.60. Yes. £5 plus 17 plus 43. So this week's figure is right. So that means the week before has gone wrong somehow, even though I've ticked that off. What is? So food spend plus 279, 559. Okay, so my budget is saying we have spent 509, so we're £50 and 40 pence out. So I'm going to figure out where that is, just in case we've classified something incorrectly. But this is very weird. But yeah, so that is basically my weekly check-in. If you made it to the end of the video, then please give me a sushi roll emoji in the comments. Hope you enjoyed it, and talk to you soon. Bye.